When I think about stories, I kind of want to tell them in order. I think chronology is important, starting from A, ending in Z. But on this journey of making ripples from the memories that Riggins and I shared, we're just going to have to throw that out. Because Riggins and I are here to right some wrongs. We are going on a Teal road trip. In Riggins' first year of hunting, we really tried to do teal season right. With absolutely no knowledge at my disposal, I had actually found a couple spots that were not hunting properties, but I found teal working in Alabama. In the end, we didn't get to share that moment together. So it's not hard to see that I wanted to make that right. I wanted Riggins to get his first teal, because that's the first taste of duck season. That's our first crack at this whole thing. And honestly, like, duck hunting in short sleeves is pretty cool. So I hatched a pretty crazy plan. A teal road trip. Starting here in Alabama during our season, going down to Louisiana during theirs, and ending up in Texas for the exclamation point, the last day of teal hunting season. And I think this is why it's important to tell these stories out of order. Because I noticed a really big ripple after last season with Riggins.
I think that's a teal duck.
My oldest son desperately wanted to be included. Now, he's pretty young. I don't really love the idea of thinking about getting a kid who's not even in kindergarten yet around the idea of gun safety, around rigging safety, around just blown expectations of not great waterfowl hunting sometimes in Alabama. But the fifth time you hear, "Dad, are we going duck hunting soon?" the answer is, as soon as teal season opens, son. It was this weird thing, like the choices that I was making with Riggins were making these positive spillovers, these ripples into my son's life. And so all of a sudden, teal season in Alabama wasn't just like this clever dip in the story where Riggins and I are not going to see anything and that's going to motivate something really bigger happening on in the story. No, Alabama teal season meant something. I wanted to show my son duck hunting. I wanted to show him all the stories he'd been hearing about Riggins. Like, sometimes we'd put on songs on the radio and he'd ask, "Is this a song we listen to duck hunting with?" So he kind of has the bug 30 years before I ever did. So before the season opened, we went scouting. Me, Riggins, and my son. We first started with some grass flats that typically dry up when Alabama Septembers limit the amount of rain we get. And sure enough, we saw teal together. So we worked through all the specifics of gun safety and we head out. Now, thankfully, he is a morning person like me, so waking up early just wasn't a big deal. He was enthralled to put on camo before he ever ate breakfast. And what was tough, right, is he had such this intensity and excitement to see Riggins do his thing, but I knew in my gut that teal season in Alabama is just a tough nut to crack. Teal want shallow water. We're on the fringe of two flyaways, so you're not getting the main push of birds. It's kind of a fool's errand. But it didn't matter, because I realized that all that Riggins and all my son wanted was just time together. So we trampled up to hilly ponds, we tried some marshes, we tried some new places. Just to make sure we weren't crazy, we went to a refuge once and saw teal. It was kind of cool, but had to explain why we couldn't hunt there. And as Alabama teal season came to a close, I felt gnarly about the whole thing. I couldn't deliver. I really couldn't think of a better idea, but I couldn't deliver. And so when we hung everything up, I was overjoyed to hear the next question. When does duck season open back up, Dad?
Wait.
The next week kicked off the next part of the Teal road trip. We were going to drive down and meet up with our buddy Ty Hibbs. Not that you should be keeping your Riggins history straight, but Ty Hibbs is who my cousin Reed and I went and knocked a bunch of teal down together last year, and Riggins wasn't able to be there. Ty is an obsessive sportsman, a beloved redfish guide. I'm a little partial to his jack program because I think jacks are some of the coolest fish on earth, but more on that later. But also, Ty loves some waterfowl. And so when I pitched this to him about stopping over for Louisiana's teal season, he said, I'm in.
Gonna go on a road trip? Gonna go on a road trip? Let's do it, come on.
So as we were making our way through South Mississippi, we hit a wall of rain. I mean, a absolute just dumping of a front. And behind it is more. So Riggins and I get to Louisiana at the casual hour of 12:30 a.m. And then we woke up a few short hours later to see a ton of rain and lightning on the map. Like I said, Ty's a heck of an outdoorsman, so he said we weren't backing down. At best, we're just going to sit and probably deliver another Alabama teal season experience. And I told him, hey, look, it's all about the story. It's all about just getting out there with Riggins and doing something new. Let's do it. When we piled into Ty's skiff, he said, has Riggins been in a skiff before? And it hit me. Oh gosh, no, he hasn't. Yeah, Riggins freaking loved it. We pulled to the end of the marsh, and this is where the Alabama and the Louisiana communication kind of falls through for a little bit. Dude, okay, easy. You out, bro. Hey. When Ty said P-row, I heard we go. P-row, we go. Anyways, I don't know. Riggins has never been in a canoe before, let alone a P-row. Okay, this is not gonna go well. Anyways, we give it a shove, and sure enough, Riggins is at least stable enough to let us paddle through the marsh in the pitch black. Lightning is slicing through the edge, the left, the right. Everything in my body tells me this is a dumb and bad idea. But at the same point, like, this is really cool. Like, I'm in the middle of the Louisiana marsh with a dude who totally gets teal, kayaking my dog into an area that could hold the birds that have eluded us for years. When legal shooting light opens, Ty kind of says what all of us cynical fly fishermen say. I can't promise anything's gonna happen. I don't feel good about it. And that's where it always brings me back to Riggins. Elbows deep in the marsh mud. Happy as all get out. Basically in the place he's always wanted to be. So I kind of kick back, take a swig of coffee, and smile. And as much as I was kind of wanting to pontificate about like us being in this beautiful place and a lightning strike, Ty cuts in and says, whoa, get down. Getting buzzed by 6 teal, moving what felt like at the speed of lightning itself. And it's in that moment that I think sportsmen have a little bit of ESP, like actually this day is gonna turn around.
Wait.
this one moment where we see a V coming in of teal, and for whatever reason, at the last second they pull up. I mean, I could have reached out and touched one. And it's these moments where I get so lost in what are the birds doing? How do we connect a shot to the birds? And I forget that like Riggins was this house dog that is now in the marsh perfectly at home.
Wait.
The first shot that Ty takes, boom, drops a bird, Riggins grows, grabs it, and retrieves it. No problem. Yeah, he kind of looks like a drunk gazelle mixed with a dolphin trying to get through this mud, but he finds the birds and brings them back. There's a moment where we get this really big group and boom, the birds come in and another group comes in, bam, whack some more. Goes again.
Tired. You tired, man?
There's some humility in that of like, oh, holy crap, Riggins is good at this. And the weirdest thing happens next, because teal fly as early as wood duck, so I'm used to the fact that we need to get in, but he goes, we have to stop. And I'm not used to this. He says the L word. We're at our limit. We came out in the middle of a thunderstorm thinking we were not going to see anything, and Riggins has his first limit. We load up the decoys, jump back in the pre-rows, and head on back to the skiff. I, to this day, don't know if Riggins loved retrieving those ducks more or getting another skiff ride. It really was like his happy place. As we said goodbye to Ty, I was kind of reeling. I was not expecting to go up on the so-called scoreboard this early in the trip. We come into Louisiana for a few short hours and gotten our first duck limit ever. Absolutely weird. Riggins and I were heading towards what I have to describe as Duck Paradise, USA. Spread Oaks Lodge is an Orvis-endorsed lodge nestled in a beautiful section of Texas, just a little hour or so outside of Houston. The kind of place that just takes your breath away. We were there to document some of the things that make Spread Oaks special. From the way they manage the land, from the conservation practices they're doing, to just how teal season is something very special to this lodge. But at the same point, it was a chance for Riggins and I to go to Duck Paradise. And so the first night, we had no problem getting a night's sleep. But the next morning, we got to go out with Rick and Paul, kind of the masterminds behind the duck program. Rick is the lodge manager and also an incredible and well-known chef. And Paul is this mastermind knowing all the ins and outs of Texas duck. So I couldn't help that maybe we were going to go back-to-back limits in 24 hours. And of course, you always get humbled in duck hunting. We saw a couple good groups come in, but we also didn't want to trash the hunting for the folks who would be coming to enjoy it later on that day. So we took a backseat, watched birds work, didn't take any ambitious, what I would call Alabama shots, and just watched them fly. Riggins didn't mind though. He got to run the property, get a good swim in, and just enjoy, again, duck paradise. The next morning, I thought about all the things going on at the lodge. I thought about all the movement, and also just how beat up Riggins was, just tired. He wasn't injured, and after last season, I couldn't stomach the idea of pushing him too hard. So I was like, I'm gonna go film and hunt, and I'm gonna let him sleep in. This is the sober and mature thing to do. So the next morning in the locker room, I was getting all the gear together, getting everything organized, and Paul runs up to me and it's like, hey, where's Riggins? We're a duck dog short. I need Riggins. I don't know what to say because I don't want my dog's lack of true duck discipline to be a hindrance to clients. And it's this weird moment where Paul looks at me and goes, we want him. All right, buddy, it's the Super Bowl. I hope you've been training good enough. He, of course, sprints out and is ready for his day. As we make the run out to the water, it's this very, very odd juxtaposition. The dog who 4 years ago was no farther than a couch when it came to duck hunting, to being needed at one of the best duck lodges in the world. I just had to laugh as we were driving out there. Morning opens with us in a condensed group in a brushed out blind with the lead guide, Paul's dog, Colonel, Riggins on the left. Kind of a 1-2 punch. Colonel, beautiful black lab with lots of discipline and lots of training. Riggins, wrinkly, large, and well, we tried to train as best we could. Immediately off the bat, we see kind of the first flights in the morning. It's not legal light, so we pull back. Then a couple more come in. A couple birds drop. Riggins and Colonel are bringing a couple birds back. But then, nothing. I look over and we're all kind of sweating, right? Because teal typically fly early and then that's it for the day. Kind of a wood duck push. This is going to hurt. Everybody else who's in the blind kind of starts getting antsy and kind of have to reassure ourselves there might be another push. And boom, sure enough, a large group comes through. Riggins and Colonel bring them back, and as they're retrieving, another group comes in. And this is the part that I don't understand about duck hunting to this point. We get camoed out. We make sure that we don't have any kind of blemish on a gun so that it would flare a bird. And here we are, the dogs are retrieving the birds, and another group is going to try and land on their backs. We are literally having to call the dogs to one side because the teal are going to come in anyways. It kind of feels like if the birds are going to land, they're going to do it no matter what. We kind of have this furious 15 minutes of birds passing in, us getting clean shots, birds getting retrieved, Riggins and Colonel thriving, until finally you kind of could feel it, like it was getting to be about 9 or 10 bright Texas blue sky. And you just knew it. There's going to be one group left. 4 birds coming in fast. We see them kind of doing this dip pattern where it looks like they're going to land in the center, but then they bump back out. And so what happens is that when they bump back out, they jump over the large grass and then try to land on the decoy spread. It's very much a kind of a pop-up land down. Clean shots go out. 1, 2, 3. And there it is in one moment. Riggins bounding into the water, grabbing him a teal, eyes completely fixed and happy and excited to be there, swimming the bird all the way back. Sadly, he's ready for another one. And I know that that's the end of teal season. We've had our first limit, we've gone to duck hunting paradise together, and we've gotten to share some really special moments. And so when I think about the whole reason that Riggins and I are going for another attempt at this thing, I can't miss the fact of these ripples from the memories emanating out in the water. My little boy who apparently wants to get into duck hunting. The folks at this lodge who got to see a house dog do something crazy. There was literally one guy who was like, well, I guess I gotta get my dog into it. I was like, yeah, that's exactly what all this is about. It's a heck of a road trip. Honestly, it's a memory I'll never forget.
What kind of duck do you want to see, George?
Well, I was gonna eat some ceviche tomorrow. Put it in merganser if they have it available.